So,
And how are the... Yeah. Nice. Just fluid motion. Those are, yes. Nice. 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 There it is. How did those feel?
yeah, good.
Yeah?
I feel like there's a lot more spin.
Nice. Yes. Great timing. Yeah. Excellent. Yes. Nice.
Okay.
My whole thought process about everything is, again, there is no right throwing form, but there are some good fundamentals.
Okay.
So I just kind of, my goal for the end of this is to hopefully be able to communicate some of the things that I think in terms of, oh, from a backhand or flick perspective, here are some things to think about, maybe try to implement, see if we see any changes in the results. And then if so, you know, the intention is when you and Julian go to a league or whatever, you can do some of these focus reps and things in mind, either beforehand, so that it kind of builds that muscle memory. So when you get into game, you don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of the thought process.
Okay.
Any questions for me off the bat?
No.
Okay, cool. How's it feeling so far? I know it's like some people find it a little pressuring, so they throw a bit differently. Do you think this is like pretty normal for you?
I feel like I'm pressured, so I need to throw better. So.
And how are the throws right now? And you think they're pretty like?
I think they're okay. It's just not hitting him where I'm aiming.
And usually, does it go where you want it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. Maybe that's a bad question. Cool. Okay. I'm also, because again, what I like to do is cut some before and afters as well. So I'm gonna move this camera to another angle.
Okay.
I like that you broke out the Rush jersey today too.
I didn't know what to wear.
Yeah, sweet. And I'm gonna get some from.
Oops.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna move. Nice. Okay. So the two things that I noticed the most in terms of what I was thinking from your throw, and you'll be able to see it from the side angle when we cut together the video, mainly. It's like if I'm gonna stand in frame just to kind of imitate. What I'm seeing right now is, again, your throws are actually very stable. Like I don't see too much wobble all the time. So in my mind, what that means is, again, you're getting good rotation. The stability of the disc comes from basically just, again, how much you can spin the disc, because that comes from the angular momentum.
Yeah.
What I was thinking though was, your accuracy did sometimes waver, right? And I think that is especially tough when it gets windy or you're tired, because that will just amplify the mistakes, right? What I was seeing in terms of your form potentially was your elbow seems quite tight to your body all the time.
Yeah.
If you think about, have you played racket sports before?
I've tried tennis. Yeah.
Tennis? Okay.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, it's just for my context too. When I'm thinking about how to generate power, so when I say power, what I specifically mean is like speed of the disc in terms of forward velocity, but also spin. A lot of that comes from almost like the whip motion of your arm.
Okay.
So you can imagine like if you had a towel that was like this long versus it was from your shoulder length.
Yeah.
It's just a lot easier to generate the momentum or to generate the power from your arm if there is a longer moment arm. So just like longer thing.
Yeah.
So if my elbow is tight here, I can just generate just less power compared to if I use my entire arm.
Right.
The trouble here is once you start adding this extra distance, then the accuracy could drop.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna give you that as a heads up, but one of the things that I would wanna try with you is to see how it feels. You can see with Julian too.
I can see it now, yeah.
He's using from the shoulder, right? And the key here is this elbow is moving. So one thing is what we wanna do is move this elbow out away from our body
Yeah.
during the throwing motion. The second thing too is we actually want it in a part of our throwing motion. I'm gonna face this way so the camera can see too. But we also want it to come backwards. Because again, when we're trying to throw that whip, we don't want to just go from here forward. We want to get all the way back here if we can.
Yeah.
And again, this is all thinking about this distance is short, there's no wind, there's no pressure, there's no nothing. But if we can kind of get a solid foundation and this being the proper feel, when we need to throw with further distance against wind, against a mark, this feels natural to us. So if we need to short arm it, like go from here and generate the power, then we have, I guess, a better idea of the fundamentals of the movement so we can adjust it from there.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other way around. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So first thing that that was one of the things that I wanted to point out. It was just elbow location. So we're gonna talk for a little bit and then we'll go into it.
Yeah.
First thing is elbow location. The second thing that I would want to speak to, but we're not gonna do it right away. I wanna take it in steps, but just as a heads up. The other thing that I was noticing was, and I think it's related, but I didn't give you direction. But when you were throwing, you were completely static from lower body.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's on one hand good because that means you're stable and you're not really like off balance, which is really good. But the second thing though is like, again, thinking about generating more power. What is past just the arm, it's then adding in the rotation from the core and also the step from the legs, from the lower body. So that's like step 2. So what I really want to focus on first is the elbow, almost like from, you're throwing from here right now. I want to move the next step up from the shoulder. So we're going to check out shoulder movement and also wrist snap and grip because we talked about like, oh, we want to work on some basics, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the things that we're going to talk about first. So I think it's probably best if we talk about grip first.
Right.
So I'm going to move the camera a bit forward just to talk about it, but just to zoom in a bit. Can you show me your grip on the disc? Okay, and then flip it over. Just want to make sure. I'm also going to, is it a good time? I'm going to throw on the GoPro for this actually. Okay, so can you show me your grip again? Okay, that actually looks really good already.
It's because I watched your video.
Oh, okay. How tightly are you gripping it? I'm just wondering.
I'm trying to, but realistically, if I'm in the game, it's hard for me to like
grip it tightly?
Grip it tightly.
Yeah. Okay, so honestly, I guess that's great. You watched the video, you already know. The whole thought process again is, I don't want this to slip out of my hand when I'm throwing the throw or the fake, because if I'm trying to think about, I want to throw it accurately to the net or to where I'm throwing. If I don't have a tight grip in this throwing motion, again, we're trying to put more power into this, right? So that just means we're trying to whip the disc essentially faster. If my grip is not tight and this shifts at all in my grip as I'm throwing, again, to get it to this location where the target is, what matters is there's angle of the disc. So it's like if it's traveling in this direction, this is angle, and there's edge, that's O-I-I-O.
Yeah.
If I have a poor grip and it slips at all and adjusts the angle or the edge while I'm going through my throwing motion, this is never gonna be a consistent throw. So it's never gonna consistently go where I want it.
Yeah.
So that's all to say, that's why it's important to have a good grip. I think your grip looks solid. And again, it's just the tightness of it. You don't have to indent the disc. It's just as a kind of principle, that's what you can think about working towards.
Okay.
Because again, especially when I talk about this to people who've never done it, because people don't really are taught ever how to grip it, it's gonna hurt. Like, or it's just gonna be sore after a bit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of same thing as usual with trying anything new in terms of, I think, movements or grips. It will feel like probably a bit uncomfortable at first, but I think the more and more you do it, you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so your flick grip honestly looks solid. I'm just gonna double check again.
Thanks to your video.
Okay, I'm glad. Grip is good.
So
okay,
it's
sweet.
touching the edge, right?
Yeah, so just to reiterate, I think, is it okay if I just like pinch your finger? Okay, so how I like to think about flick specifically is you're pressing down with your thumb. With these fingers, you are pressing almost like diagonal into this ridge.
Okay.
And you're pinching also this way.
Okay.
So that's how it, like, you keep it almost secure in, I guess, down and up with these fingers and also sideways with these fingers.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what's keeping it
So
tight.
I guess it's just getting used to it.
Yeah. One really good drill too, if you're ever just at home and you want to work on this, because one of the previews that I'll do is, I was noticing with your throwing motion, you don't support it with your other hand very much. Like you kind of just let go and do this. One key skill, I think, especially as you get more comfortable with faking, is you want to be able to go from this flick grip with one hand into your backhand grip and back. So you notice how I'm like rotating it into my backhand? Yeah, so it's like, it's just, if you're at home, you can just do this. And again, this is like, you go from a tight flick grip, flip it into your backhand so it's tight, and then flip it back.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering how.
Yeah, that's like because again, if I'm ever thinking about I want to throw, right?
Yeah.
I have a mark and I have a flick here. I'm gonna stand in camera.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so if I'm throwing this way, and if I have a mark, then I want to be able to show the flick so that they bite. Then I can, as I'm pivoting, flip it into here, have my second hand off, either throw this or fake it, and then be able to come back.
Right,
So again, I can move them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's flick grip. Honestly, your grip looked good. Julian, I'm gonna get you to toss again.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So we talked about grip, we talked about what I want to see. Yeah, okay. So what the focus is for these throws now is, first step, I think your grip is honestly good. Maybe just like tighten it a little bit when you're going through your regular throwing motion. And then I'll give you a second and a third thing to focus on in terms of the throwing motion. Right now, don't think about it too much. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I forgot to snap. Oh.
I'm trying to.
Right now, can you take a step that way?
This way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go, yeah.
You know how to aim?
Oh. So right now, I'm already noticing that you're trying to step and you're also trying to like get more elbow movement.
Yeah.
So that's
Is it
perfect.
just step that you wanted?
Right now, actually, I don't want you to step.
Oh, no
I just
step.
want, let's just isolate again from the shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you actually want to, you can just set up like, you can kind of, instead of, again, you're standing here and then you go into the step, you can kind of just sit here and just throw that flick if you want. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good.
It's horrible.
Does this feel different than before?
Yeah.
What do you think feels different?
Because I'm trying to extend my elbow.
Extend your elbow a little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that I'm definitely seeing the increased range of motion, which I like. I'm gonna try to now think specifically on on what cues I can give you to make it feel a bit more natural. So I'm just gonna watch a few more reps and then I'll tell you. Nice.
Oh shit.
Oh, it's actually,
Okay, sorry, I didn't do
no,
it
this is
properly.
solid. It's good. Like I think the good news is I'm taking a while just because I don't see anything that's significantly standing out to me.
From what I've seen, the motion looks a lot better.
Maybe you're just really good at implementing feedback immediately. Maybe I'm done. Maybe we're done in 20 minutes.
Just watch more videos.
There you go.
I'm just gonna pause there for a sec.
Yeah.
How does this feel compared to at the very beginning?
I feel like I'm getting more movement. Like I feel like yeah, you're right that I always want like this. So I feel like I'm getting more movement.
Okay, like you're getting further away from the body.
Yeah.
Okay, just to kind of recap what I'm seeing and why I'm not really commenting too much. It's like, usually when people add in the step or I tell them to use more elbow or just like get more range of motion, they usually compensate with other things and their form looks awkward. From what I'm seeing, so there's two usual things that I see. It's like they try to do it and the form throws something else off.
Yeah.
Or they do it, but the throw, because we just changed it, significantly drops the accuracy. I'm not seeing either of those things. I'm seeing your form looks good and solid. And then when you're throwing, like, I don't see any like huge wobble. I don't know, because I'm not looking at the throw exactly, but all the throws are pretty.
There's wobble there, but that's due to like obviously just changing the form.
Yeah.
If you have that more reps,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a lot better.
Okay, cool. So in terms of form, I actually don't have too much. What I want to now focus on is that last part of the throw, because again, I think with that, the accuracy will come from reps. So that's what I want to focus on here. We're actually gonna jump ahead a little bit and do the focused reps exercise, because this is what essentially you can do with Julian or whoever before your games to get in, or like if you have a net, if you have a target, you have a stack of discs, you just go, like you just need this distance. Like you can have the net, you can have like whatever. I've gone to a field and I just use like a lamp post or just like a soccer net.
Yeah.
And we'll do essentially exactly this in terms of focused reps, but now we're focused on accuracy. What I want you to do now, what do I want you to do now? We're gonna focus in on essentially your arm motion from your shoulder down. Okay. So your movement already is solid. The two things that I want you to focus on are, I think the grip, you already have, again, good fundamentals in terms of where to place it. I just really want you to focus on, okay, pause for a second, focus on trying to grip it a bit harder. And then focus on the wrist snap part. It's almost like you're whipping a towel. Like you know that movement of just like whipping the towel?
Okay.
That's the snap part that I want you to focus on too. So it's those two things. It's the grip and the wrist snap part.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I'm also gonna make sure that this is in frame.
Oh my gosh. That is not it.
It's okay, we get the first couple out. Nice. So literally, like catch, pause, look at it, and think about the tight grip, and then go into the throw. Yeah. Ooh, nice grab. Pause, yeah. Tight grip, snap. Good.
Right. Okay.
So the cue that I'm looking for here is that had very minimal wobble, right? That's what I want. That's what we are working on right now. Good, yeah.
You have no aim.
I just put it in space.
So that one, did you pause?
No.
No.
Sorry, let me pause.
Good, yeah, good. Yeah. I think especially too, what'll be helpful, for these ones at least, is pausing and actually looking at your hand. Because I think that will just help build the mind-body connection a bit of just being, okay, yeah, I'm gripping it tightly, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're good. We're gonna do 10 reps. I'm not gonna speak for the first 5.
Okay.
But I want to see that. I want you to look at it, and then I want you to go into the throw.
Okay.
Yeah, good. What do you think?
I don't know. This is crazy how it's already 10 times better.
That's sick. We'll pause after here. How did those feel?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
I feel like there's a lot more spin.
Yeah, and again, the thing that I'm seeing is there's a very little wobble.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that too, Julie? Okay. And the accuracy also was solid, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is too, when you think about like the wobble of the disc, right? If it's wobbling, that means it's not stable. So the path that it can take is also just less accurate.
Yeah.
If you have the spin and you have the snap, again, and that's coming from, you have a tight grip, so you know it's secure, and then you're wrist snapping, so you're making sure you're getting a lot of spin on it. If it's coming out stable, then again, if your angle or edge is off a little bit, that's not going to be, like the mistake won't be amplified. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if it's wobbling, it's just gonna float off
anywhere,
more.
yeah.
So the benefit too of checking, okay, is my grip tight? and then going into the wrist snap is whenever you make a mistake, it's way easier for you to know, oh, the difference in error was because of my angle and edge. It wasn't because of the wobble and just randomly going off, right? So you can self-correct. So I think for your focus reps, again, if you're ever tossing with Julian or whenever beforehand, I think that key step of looking at it is really important, because the things that we did before, when you, I think again, it's very easy to just do what you usually have done when you're throwing and it's just like catch it and throw, right? But because we want to build that muscle memory, I really want that distinct step to be look at it and then throw.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. That was really quick. That was like 25 minutes. It's okay. This is Flick. How can I increase the difficulty?
OYIO? Century?
Yeah. Okay. There's a couple paths that we can take. We can go trying this under pressure. So then I can probably just ask Julian to mark you and you're throwing into the net. So that's one option. I think that could be beneficial because again, that's just more game-like. Step 2 is we could look at backhand instead. So we could switch up and we can always come back to this too.
Okay.
Option 3, I think, would be, like Julian mentioned, go into IO, OI for edge of the throws. Do you have any preference for which way you want to go?
Can we do backhand?
Backhand, yeah, okay. Backhand, sweet. Because we did a bunch of recording for the Flick, I actually also want to get some reps of you from the side with this change.
Yeah.
So same thing, do the check and then throw. And I'm going to get the angle from the side and from the front. Okay. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Keep tossing, yeah, go for it. You're doing a great job, by the way, too. This is like,
Thank you.
this is faster than Julian, so. No, but genuinely, this is like, I think I probably worked on throwing form with like, I'm trying to think, like, have I, just again, with just people that have coached too, like, maybe triple digit people. I feel like you're definitely in the top kind of like 10% of people that have picked this up.
Thanks.
And like how quickly you have, so this is good. Nice, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot accurate.
That was excellent. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do one edit, or okay, no, I'm gonna get this angle and then I'm gonna give you one edit just to play with. I just want to see how it goes. Are you looking at your grip?
Good.
No, are you looking at your grip?
Oh, am I looking at my grip? No, I'm just feeling it. Okay.
Nice. Good, yes. Yes. Good. Yeah, I know it's like a little annoying, but I'm gonna be very particular about it, just because I want you to get the reps and get used to it while I'm here. So that when I am not here, it is more of a, you'll hear my voice be like, oh.
Look at your grip.
It's telling me. Oh, but that's great. Okay, all of those are stable. Keep throwing. I'm gonna point out one thing that I just wanna try to see how it feels, just as one potential edit. Throw 2 more. Good. Yeah, nice and stable. Good. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna pause there. I'm gonna step in here just to give you, can you stand near the camera just so you can see the angle that I'm seeing? So just kind of stand like probably on that side.
This side?
Yeah, just so you can see. So what I'm seeing, and you'll be able to see it on film too. Or, yeah, Julian, toss. Can you toss it here? What I'm seeing is, again, you're getting good elbow movement away from your body now, but you'll be able to see from this angle, it's still starting in line with your body. I think that is fine for shorter distances, but again, as we move to, if I were to go, double this distance, so right now I'm throwing probably 7-8 yards to Julian. If I'm at the 15-yard mark, I might need to start adding, the next kind of step to getting more power here is to generate it from moving this elbow back.
Okay.
So what that'll look like is I have it in neutral, and again, your throwing form looks good. It's just instead of reaching out with your elbow, you think about where this elbow is, and grab a disc too, actually, if you want to imitate it. So it's like you're holding it in neutral. This elbow should be coming out right now, and like that's what your throwing form is right now. So you come out and then throw. To generate more power, what happens is this elbow stays on the same like plane. It just moves back more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So where that is coming from is it's actually rotating from the shoulder. So like your shoulder blades, instead of just coming straight across where they're facing Julian, I'm actually rotating, like if this is my shoulder blade, like this plane, it's rotating back, where almost this shoulder is pointing somewhat towards where I'm throwing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, what this naturally does is it brings my elbow back, but this also rotates my core. So again, this is where some of that power can come from.
Right,
Rotating
okay.
the core. So just to demo kind of what that looks like even with this distance, is I'm going to bring this elbow instead of straight across, it's back along this plane, rotating from the shoulders. And then I'm rotating from this left shoulder, initiating the movement. And then it's just like that whip motion.
Okay.
So it'll go. Ugh. So actually, with this short distance, I'm gonna slightly alter it. My elbow actually isn't rotating a lot. I actually don't need to rotate a lot from my upper body, but it does twist a little bit.
Yeah.
So I want you to pay attention to my elbow. Do you notice how it comes back from the plane of my body a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one edit that you can think about adding. I think for right now, because you implemented it so quick, I actually want to see how you respond to it. So I want you to think about moving this elbow. The only thing I want you to focus on is moving this elbow back behind the plane of your body.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So again, take a step that way a little bit. The only change that you need to think about is step one, look at your hand, grip. Step two, bring this elbow to be almost like back here. Yeah. And then that's where you initiate your throw from.
Okay.
Good, yeah.
I know, I need to think about it first.
Good, yeah.
Oh God.
Don't worry, again, the throw will be affected. What I'm concerned right now is the elbow, because I can change or give you edits after that. Good. 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 So again, this is very typical in terms of I changed one thing, it throws off the other things in your throw, so then the result looks bad, right? But again, I don't think this is a bad result because I want you to change something specifically to see. We'll get there in just a sec. Yeah, so keep throwing, you're good.
Oh my gosh. You stupid. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh. Okay. Pass here. I'm just gonna point out something. So stand behind me and you'll be able to see it. What you're doing right now is you are bringing your elbow back.
Yeah.
But when you're going through this throwing motion, what you're doing is this elbow is
like
sweeping close to your
Yeah.
body. So what that does is, again, you're trying to throw, you either throw an IO, which is awkward from this position, or when you try to throw the OI from your elbow tucked, again, you're in an awkward position, so you can't generate a smooth, like just wrist snap. So what you need to think about is your elbow back is good, but as you start moving this elbow forward, it's not sweeping under, it's almost sweeping like, how do I explain this? I want there to be space from your elbow to your hip. I don't want this to be tucked.
Right.
Because I think from here, it feels a lot more awkward to throw, and again, you're kind of back in that space of throwing from your elbow. I want it to be similar to how, you moved your elbow out, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're moving the elbow out, and then you're getting to that point with the momentum. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. So I think the cue to think about is Step 1, grip. Step 2, elbow back. And then step 3, get the elbow away from your body.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Bing. Sorry. Nice. That's good, that's good, that's good. Yes. Yeah. Check your grip. Look at it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Okay, this is actually, your form is looking great. Last thing, focus on the wrist snap now.
Okay.
That last part.
Yeah.
There, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, I didn't snap, sorry.
So what I'm gonna point out, notice in that one, I don't know if you felt it. It looked like you used a lot of arm motion, which was good, but the wrist snap was either mistimed or not there.
Yeah.
And the result was wobbly and a little bit off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, again, if you ever see that when you're throwing, it's a bad throw. It's just you missed, like something was off. So
Yeah.
you just notice, change, and reset for the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess sometimes I forget to wrist snap.
Yeah, no, it's good. Again, like we're making something that you've never consciously thought of conscious. Yeah. So it's the same thing of like, oh, you know, like don't think about your like, don't think about feeling your hands or something, right? Like you immediately become conscious of it and you overthink it. Same thing with the throw. It's gonna feel weird, but that is part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent, good. Okay, pause for a sec. We're gonna do the same thing. I'll give you the feedback every single throw, but I think your checklist right now, because your elbow movement looks solid, 3 steps is 1 is look at your hands, look at your grip. Step 2 is make sure that elbow is away from your body, coming away and back. And then 3 is that wrist snap at the end. Okay. If you can get those 3 things, I think your throw will be stable. Okay. And that's what we want to look for. Good. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Did you look at your hands?
I did not. Oh my God.
Good. Yeah. Yep. Nice. Yes. No wobble there. Perfect. You're good. Good. Again, the accuracy will come from reps. That's all good. Yeah. Nice. I think the wrist snap there a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Missing.
Cool. Yeah. Good. Yes. That one was excellent. Excellent. Nice. So what I'm really, I'm gonna pause there. What I'm really happy again to see is you're doing those 3 things, and then even though like I'm not telling you to consciously think about that elbow too much, I'm seeing the elbow come back more. And what I'm gonna ask you now is like, do you, it's cool if the answer is no, do you feel any difference between your form with the elbow moving back versus not?
Now I don't, because now I don't think about it. Because earlier when you told me, I was thinking about it, but now it just feels more natural.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, to be very particular, in terms of how it's affecting the throw.
Oh, how it's affecting the
Does
throw.
it feel like there's any change in terms of after you've moved the elbow out and back more? Does it feel like the throw is any different? No? In terms of accuracy, power, it's all very similar?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think it was all in my wrist snap.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense to me because again, if the wrist snap is off, everything else can be right. Then you kind of see from some of the reps, like it doesn't work out well. So almost like we have the sequence of things for you in terms of your checklist for your flick. I think that is solid for you to keep in mind, and we can move on to the backhand next. Okay. It's just the most important part, even though it's last, is the wrist snap part.
Yeah.
So yeah. I want you to throw the 15, and we're gonna imitate as if, again, you were throwing either at a target, and this is your focused reps if you are solo or with a partner. We're just gonna simulate as if you don't have a partner though, but it's no different if you are tossing with somebody. It's just they might be a bit more distracting because they might be talking. But yeah, I explained it to Julian, I think I mentioned it in another video. It's like, this type of practice is specifically focused reps. So the drill is 300s because for what you would want to work towards is to be able to essentially throw 300 of that throw of what we just worked on, going through the checklist to either a target or to somebody. And the tough part of the drill, because it's focused, is I want all of your attention on the throw. So that means you shouldn't be talking, you shouldn't be listening to music. There's no mark, there's no wind. It's a relatively short distance, so it should be quote unquote easy. The tough part is the focus part. If you miss a throw, that is fine. But if it's because of a drop in focus, you started thinking about something else, you forgot the checklist, like that's the tough part. Because again, what we're trying to train is getting your mind used to, oh, this is just so obvious to me, like I'm getting it over and over and over again, that when you're in game, when you're tired, when you're under pressure, you don't need to think about it as much. It just takes that quick reminder of like, oh, okay, I saw an off throw. This is probably what it is. I'm gonna try adjusting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so these 15 throws, you're aiming generally towards the net. If you miss or mess up, that's cool, but again, just recheck again, those 3 things. I think for the first set, I'll tell you what I see right after if there are any errors. And then the second set, I'm not gonna say anything, okay? Okay, cool. We're gonna go through 15.
Start?
Yeah, so just, I'm gonna move this closer.
Okay.
Go for it. Good. Nice. I think wrist snap there. Good. Again, accuracy comes from reps, it's all good. No wobble there was good. Excellent. What I'm seeing with that one, it hit the target, that's great. Your elbow came too close to the body. It looks like it's so small, but what I'm seeing is it's sweeping in, and what the throw will look like if you sweep in like that is, again, my elbow is close to my body, so my release will probably look IO. If you throw OI and you have this elbow above, or sorry, if you have the elbow away from the body, very likely the throw is going to look more OI.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that came out a little IO? So elbow away. Good, yeah. So again, pause in between, take a little bit more time in between each one. Good. Yes. Okay, this is a really subtle thing with these. I don't know what, maybe it's because, again, we've just repped it out a few times to the target, or it's just different throwing to a net as opposed to a person. What I'm noticing is actually you're throwing, the throwing motion is, I'm gonna show on camera, but it's like when you throw, before it was like step throw, and it was, you're transferring that momentum well. For the last 3 or 4, I was kind of seeing like you were throwing before you landed or at the exact same time as you landed. So it looked more like throw, if I'm exaggerating.
Oh, okay.
Or like you were landing and throwing exactly at the same time.
Yeah.
Again, that comes to, I want to be balanced. I want to be stable from where I'm throwing from. So for this last one, let's check your grip, that's cool. But I want you more focused on step throw. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Nice.
I think I was trying to rush.
Nice. Wrist snap now. Good. Nice. Yep. That came out OI too, right? That was solid. Elbow swooped in a little bit. All good. Nice. Yes, I'm really again liking that you're, even if there are any mistakes, you're looking at that grip and checking it. That's exactly what I want to see. Yeah. Good. Okay, quick pause too. I'm gonna call out for the last two. Those were excellent because what it looked like was, I think, again, it's very natural. When I was talking about step, for the first few reps, it was like you were thinking very much about the step and throw, right? Those last two, it felt like you weren't thinking about it as much. And what that looked like is it was much more fluid in terms of one motion, right? And what that means is I think that throw came out, again, just a bit faster. So you can have a great wrist snap, but if your arm movement too, it's kind of a seesaw. If you have a great wrist snap, but you have a very slow arm movement or slow transfer of energy, it still can come out awkward. So you had the combo there of both of like, you had a good grip and you had the like transfer of energy momentum into the throw. And what happened was very little wobble. Some of them, I think the last two were maybe not completely on the mark, but they came out quickly, which again, coming from I want you to work on specific basics to get, like the accuracy will come from reps. I think that throw with more reps is exactly what you want in terms of a solid flick.
Okay.
Yeah. So finish these off with the same kind of focus, I guess. Wrist snap, and I want just fluid motion. Those are, yes, yeah, exactly it. You thought there for a little bit, right? Nice. Yeah. Yeah. One more. Yeah, good. Okay, so the last 15, and then we're gonna take a break and switch to backhand.
Okay.
Is we're almost gonna undo everything that we just talked about, which is, again, the ultimate goal is to be able to do this without thought. So it sounds counterintuitive, but this is kind of the first time that I'm thinking about it. We just spent a bunch of time kind of giving your body reps of, okay, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, I wanna focus on these things. We've changed a bit, right? But I think you noticed on those last 5 reps, when you think about it, it's very hard to be fluid, right? So what I want you to actually focus on this time is, when you're going through the throw, first is just check your grip, but then just throw.
Okay.
And what you're looking for is no wobble and somewhat quickly to the target.
Okay.
Yeah, and if there's any, again, it's off, it's whatever, that is completely fine. Do your quick adjustments, think about, okay, maybe I'm gonna change this a bit, but what I don't want is like that was a bad throw. I don't want those thoughts in your head because, again, that is throwing you off of what the headspace is, ideally, of like no thought, like thoughtlessness, right? So if you ever mess up the throw, if it comes out terribly, like, you know, it's okay, it happens. Forget about it, take the breath, like take literally 5 seconds if you need to just breathe, turn around, walk around, whatever, and then reset, and then try something else. Does that make sense? So for these ones, I am going to stand behind and not talk.
Okay.
Pause. Take the break. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Pause. Take the break. Yeah. Nice. There it is. Hold on.
Thank you.
Okay, grab some water. We're going to do, I did this with Julian too, it's like gap effect. So grab the water, just kind of, I think close your eyes, kind of walk around or sit down, whatever you want, and just kind of think about everything that we've talked about in the last 40 seconds or 40 minutes, and then we'll just kind of recap of like, what do you still remember that we talked about?
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like a quiz, it's more like what made sense. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the last 40 minutes?
I think it was good. Definitely, like not forgetting to snap my wrist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it is more, it feels better when I extend my elbow.
Elbow
Like,
out.
elbow out,
Away
yeah.
from the body
Away, yeah.
specifically, yeah. I think if I think about what would have the most impact on a throw in terms of almost like effort into output, it would be getting this elbow out, because again, you're basically increasing, I think the physics term is moment arm. It's basically just like the length from where you're rotating from. You're extending it from here all the way out. So you're just essentially doubling it. So
Yeah.
it makes it easier to generate leverage, essentially. Just exert more power with the same amount of effort. And then also, again, the wrist snap too. I think that really affects the spin. So if you have, again, the stability and the power, if you just get more of those reps, the accuracy will come from doing the focused prep or throws that we just did.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. No, that's great. And then if you really want to think about your cues again, from one frame of thought, if you're really trying to think about and be very cerebral about it, it's the checking your grip, it's the elbow away, and then third is the wrist snap part.
Yeah.
But what we want to work towards is the mindless kind of throw. So that last set of like, I think some of them you could see that it was exactly what we wanted. Some of them were a bit off,
Yeah.
but I think you were, again, thinking about it. The goal is going through that process of like, oh, I see maybe something that goes off. Let me take a moment. Let's remind myself of those things. Okay. And then just go into the throw.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was trying to demo when I went through my reps too, of like, yeah, I haven't done this in a while, but like, you know, I'd hit a few right where I wanted it. There were a few that went high left and down to the right. And what I tried to do for some of them was, okay, I'm gonna pause. Why did it happen? Okay, because I've thrown so much, I kind of know I may have just gripped it or like released it weird. So then I need to think about my grip or my wrist snap. So then I adjusted, it either worked or it didn't. And then sometimes, again, I play around with like, sometimes I don't want to think too much. So if I miss, I just pick it up and throw it again.
Yeah.
But it's, again, these reps are very intentional. That's what I'm trying to do. Any questions too, just to wrap up on flick?
No, I don't think so. Okay, so what I think I was doing also was to get, instead of like snapping my wrist, I would just whip it really hard to get it to the person.
Yep.
So yeah, I was just exerting, like trying to just whip it instead of snapping my wrist.
And again, there's technically nothing wrong with doing that because it'll get there. It's just with these changes, you can get it there with less energy in. So what that also means is with the same amount of energy but more efficient form, you can just get it to where you want it either faster or throw further.
Yeah.
And that's, again, just what we want, kind of. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, let's go into backhand. I'm just gonna double check on this guy here.
What?
Move this here. I need to get this angle and then a couple there.
I have to spin.
Nice. This looks solid already. It's good. Nice. Again, I'm gonna record from the side, but no huge, like, I don't see anything that's glaring. It all looks like it's on target, looking solid. The only thing that I will probably think about or speak to is I'm being maybe a bit nitpicky, but I'll talk to it after. I just want to get some recordings of the other angles. I just want to see how this looks. Can you shift that? I'm gonna move the bench. Yeah, shift this way a little bit.
Shift
And
this
then instead of stepping forward, step this way. I just want to see what your form looks like or how it changes.
That's just on the ass kick.
Sorry.
I'm gonna grab another. Okay, you don't need to step out that way now. Just keep stepping forward if you want. I'm just gonna grab this angle too. Awesome. Okay. What I was seeing from your throws, actually, again, very on target, very little wobble, pretty solid. The things that I'm going to suggest in terms of change will again kind of speak to the same things that we talked about for flick. In terms of there's nothing wrong with your old form. It's just that I can see potential in terms of suggesting a different type of throwing form that might be more efficient. So again, you can exert the same amount of effort and also potentially same amount of effort, more power. Yeah, but then I think it more has to do, we'll check grip, but I think it actually more has to do with your, again, from elbow down and where you're stepping. So it's just like talking about some of those trade-offs is what we'll talk about in just a second, but first we'll check our grip. Okay. So I don't think I've talked on a video about backhand, have I?
No, you haven't. That's
I think I recorded
That's
one.
why I don't know.
I recorded
so I was trying
one,
to
but I
find
didn't
one.
post it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna come in here so we can kind of see. Okay, so backhand, can you have you hold it in backhand?
Yeah.
So can you fake the throw actually a few times? And like with the step too. I just wanna see what that, yeah, and keep going. And reset completely to if you're, yeah. Okay, and do it one more time. Okay, the one quick thing that I'll say with backhand especially because it's more natural, is if I'm ever throwing, and let's say I'm throwing in this direction, right? What I actually want to do with this left offhand is keep it here, in my mind at least, as long as I can, because with just one hand, this is all that is responsible for controlling the edge and the angle, right? So with backhand, because it feels more natural, if I'm ever stepping out this way, or stepping out, yeah, that way, and then throwing the backhand. What I actually want to do is, instead of just dropping it here and then relying completely on this hand to control, I will actually bring this offhand all the way with me back here, because again, this just helps support the disc. And then when I go into this throwing motion forward, all I'm doing on the bottom is just letting go. So it's still like pressing up against my hand to keep it stable.
Yeah.
So I'm not like coming back here and then letting it drop. It's like coming back here and I'm like lifting these fingers and then the throw. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's just like one small thing that you can add. So as I go into this throwing motion, it just comes off and then I go into the throw. Okay. The second piece that will help with, because again, what I was noticing with your throwing form is you were stepping forward, and then because of that, when you think about like, the backhand is different because if I'm throwing in this direction, so if, yeah, you're throwing, so I'll actually stand here so we can record it. If you are throwing in this direction and you step forward, so step forward, and I want you to rotate as much as you can to the right. Which way are you pointing? It's that way, right?
That way, yeah.
So in order, like if you step forward and you're trying to throw this way, that means you have to like cut off your rotation in order to throw where you want it to throw.
Yeah.
So that's why, again, when we're trying to get more distance, a lot of it comes from rotation. So now if you step this way and then rotate as far as you can, now the direction is more towards
that way.
The direction of forward.
Yeah.
So from a slight change form, a suggestion for when we're going through these reps, I actually would want you more, you don't have to step out completely perpendicular because this is more for if you're throwing further distances because you need more rotation. The edit that I'll have you do is more step out 45.
Okay.
So it's not that I don't want you stepping out forward anymore, but just like, again, stepping out this way so you still get a bit of the forward momentum, but you can also use the rotation more.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one small thing. So first is the supporting with the offhand. Second is stepping out. So what that'll look like is I have it neutral. I'm gonna step out and keep this hand supported. And then third, I think more has to do again with the wrist snap part. So what I want you to focus on is that wrist snap at the end. So those are three-step checklist. We kind of skipped ahead. Now we're going to talk about grip again.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we're going to come back. Okay, can you come here and then show me your backhand grip? Okay, and then just flip it upside down. Okay, cool. Actually, no, this looks, again, solid. The only adjustment that I'll say is with smaller hands or bigger hands, again, the key thing here, it's not too important where this thumb is in particular, but the benefit, again, is because we want to pinch down and keep it tight, as much as it feels comfortable with your hand, it doesn't have to be on the ridges, because with smaller hands, I think that can actually feel uncomfortable. Like for me, holding it here feels weird. So it's just finding a spot where it's hopefully further into the disc, but not close enough to the edge where it's like you can't press down. Because again, the tightness of this grip, because we don't want it to shift, comes from pushing down with my thumb and opposing that with these fingers pushing up on the rim underneath.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like that's where the pinching motion is. If I imagine like where I see the pressure point, the bump here, it's actually not right on top of, like the bump is actually about here with the fingers. But again, that's where the tightness comes in. I'm pressing down with this, opposing it with these fingers.
Yeah.
And then it's tight into my hand. So I saw like you had that already, yeah. The cue also that feels a bit weird is like this, I'm gonna point it, I will show you what it looks like and then I'll point out what the difference is. This is the same in terms of pushing down, fingers curled under, no space. This is the same as this, right? Like it's still, there's no real space here. My fingers is pushing down, but thumb is on the ridge. There is a huge difference though. And the key thing in terms of the last cue that I want you to pay attention to is the face of this disc. This should be in line as much as you can with your forearm. Okay? The other way you can think about it is the ridge of the disc kind of sits into that meaty part of your hand.
Yeah.
Notice how it's like if I rotate it, it doesn't sit here.
Yeah.
Like if you note, like see?
Yes, yes.
It's not sitting there, and that
Yeah.
means it's not aligned with my hand or my forearm.
Yeah.
The reason why I want it in this meaty part and aligned with my forearm as much as I can is when I go into like a throw this way, right? If I have, let's say I want to release it, like I'm trying to like throw an OI flick, let's say, right? My arm motion will be, again, more of an arc, so I'm gonna be extending from the elbow. If this disc isn't in line with my forearm and it's like this, it's very hard for me to control and think about what is the angle that I'm releasing it at. Versus if it's rotated and in line with my forearm, because I'm extending from my elbow, this is gonna be in line with my forearm. Does that make sense? Yeah. So really the cues here, in terms of, again, to recap, thumb on the ridge, somewhere, it doesn't really matter too much, but pushed in as much as you can. Fingers opposing it underneath, so pushing against it. Third is no space in this webbing. Fourth is you don't want it to, you almost want it to be in the meaty part of your hand / aligned with your forearm. And then step 5 is the step that we talked about.
Yeah.
So you actually want to step more perpendicular or 45.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's basically like fundamentals in terms of backhand throwing form. Any questions there?
No.
Okay, cool. And again, same thing is like, I kind of want to think about tight grip. So I'm going to look at it, make sure it's tight. And then same cues, we're going to think about wrist snap when we go into the throws, okay?
Okay.
I need to... Good. Yes. Okay, we're going to focus now. What do we focus on? Oh, I need to take this off too. Just toss for a bit. I'm gonna think, what do I want to focus on?
Oops. You can't catch.
Nice. Can I have it for a sec? I just want to think about something. Okay, we're gonna work on, because we talked a lot about grip, we're actually gonna not add the step right now, because I want to keep it simple. So you're actually just gonna step out in the 45 position. Most of my weight is on this front leg. You can still kind of like lean into this throw if you want, but I kind of want you to be balanced and set here. And we're just gonna throw from here. So you're not even like winding up, it's bringing this second hand back here.
Okay.
I'm looking to where I want to throw. And then, okay, for you again, I'm gonna look at my grip, make sure it's tight. Do the kind of 5-step checklist that we talked about.
Yeah.
And then what I want to focus on is similar to the flick. It's going to be that wrist snap.
Okay.
So I think in this abridged 3-step thing, it's just get set with your foot, with your stable stance. Look at your grip, and then focus on the wrist snap.
Okay.
So I'm going to reset. Okay. Okay. I'll do it one more time. And just like, yeah, essentially just really watch that 3-step for me and then just try to imitate. Okay? You actually don't need to, you can just get set into the step. Like yeah, you can just stay in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna toss it back, right?
Yes, yeah, sorry. He will pass it back. Good. Sorry, when you don't have to stay like this. Yeah. It's more just, I don't need you, like this, going into this doesn't have to be step 1. It's like you can catch and kind of go into this and then from here.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna go back on what I said. I do want you to think about stepping, pausing.
Okay.
Because yeah, that's what we're working.
Be like this. You don't have to, like, he wants you to be like in this, because the more natural thing is when you're doing this, right? So you're gonna be like this already, just go.
Good, yeah. Yep. That step though was completely perpendicular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not actually like, you're just gonna be like this. You're just.
Yeah, wait, here, I'll step in because I think I demoed it wrong. Yeah, so like I'm just gonna do the reps exactly as I want you to do them in terms of even the reset too. So I think the key thing that I really want you to focus on is it's not really that important to me for you to like think about transferring your weight to this position. What's more important to me is like you're gonna sit. You can take as long as you want to just kind of like get into this spot where you feel balanced.
Okay.
That's the more important part. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the reason why I was pointing that out before was I think it's, again, I don't really care if you catch it in this position. Like, so once I throw it, I'm gonna throw it to you, Julie. Yeah, sorry. Like once I throw it to Julian, I don't need to stay in this because again, I've thrown. What's more important is just I am stable before I go into this motion. Yeah, cool. So just get stable. Yeah. Good. Get stable, yes. Cool, so you're getting stable now, that's great. Now, again, the next step is get stable, then look at that grip.
Okay.
Yeah, good, yes. Notice how that one came out quicker?
Yeah.
Again, I think that is very much directed to grip.
Okay.
Yeah. Get stable, grip, yep. Good, again, excellent. Stable, grip, good. Yep. Do you feel that? Like you feel in terms of gripping it tightly, when you wrist snap, it just comes off nice and clean, right? That's exactly what we want. That is exactly what I want to see. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I want to get some reps of, or sorry, some recordings of it from the side too, but I'm actually really excited for the next like iteration because I think you'll be able to feel a difference in terms of the throw. Yeah, make sure you look at the grip though.
Yeah.
Good, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes. Yep. Again, I love that power. That's great. Yep, good. One more. Yep. Excellent. That one was excellent too. No wobble there. A few more reps from this angle too, and then I will give you increase the difficulty a bit because you are implementing these perfectly. Make sure you look at the disc, but that came out really nicely too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You could feel that one come out just cleanly, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, good, yeah. Yes, okay, that's excellent. So the variation now, again, I'm gonna just demo in terms of what I saw in terms of a difference, and then we're gonna talk about what the next step that I want you to do is, okay? So I'm just gonna step in here. So what, again, to recap, what I was seeing before was you were generating a lot of the throw power from your forward step of the momentum, but because of the way your body was angled, that means it's like very hard to rotate and generate power from here. So because of the forward step, you're getting the power from both the forward momentum of the step, and also because of the angle of your body, you are using a lot of arm, right?
Yeah.
Now that we've changed your step to here, and you're essentially setting from here, a lot of this power is being generated from just the elbow and forward, right? And what that benefit means is now, if I am, again, I've also set you up in a spot where you're isolated from, you're not using any momentum here, you're just stable, right? So now the next step is, okay, I have it from here. What we're gonna do is, and again, your throw is really quick. I think these throws were faster than your other throws, right?
Yeah.
So now if we add in the momentum of the step, and more of like the transfer into this throw, that's the next iteration. And essentially these throws are gonna go faster. So Julian, you might need to be ready to catch like quickly. They might be heaters. But the reason again that I want you to do this specifically is if you can have a very efficient backhand throw, then if you ever need to, okay, I need to just slow it down. That just means you need to use either less arm or less wrist snap, and it's always easier to tone it down. If you're accurate at a high speed, it's like, okay, toning it down in terms of speed is like, oh, that's easier than trying to, you're accurate at slow speed, I'm gonna try to ramp it up, and usually that's where errors happen. Like you're going past your limits, let's say, right? So what it'll look like now is, I want you to set up more in the neutral, and you're just going into this position where we were set before.
Okay.
But part of that is, the two difficult parts of it are, one is getting from here, stable, unstable to stable. Like that transfer is very awkward, especially combining with the arm motion and that timing that we talked about from the flick, right? That's challenging part number one. Challenging part number two is like, if you're holding it in backhand, now it's, before we were just set back here. It's getting from here to this backhand, right?
Yeah.
It's not as hard as the energy transfer from below, so honestly that's the main challenge. But what it'll look like is, okay, these throws will be a little faster. They won't be crazy, but I'm gonna throw, but the cue again that we wanna see is essentially the exact same kind of throws that we threw before, just with a little bit increased speed. So if I had this, again, I'm gonna try to, as much as I can, have the exact same upper body. The only difference will be the step, okay? So it's gonna be from here. So this is like me just staying stable. And then now, like it's coming out a little bit faster, right? Even actually as I was throwing, it's kind of like not that big of a difference. I think the big difference though is when you're in game, you're never really just gonna be like, it's weird to just stand here, right? So I think actually, it's not so much the speed, it's more just getting to that position, because that's more game-like. Yeah, so yeah, let's do this for some reps and see how that
Sorry,
feels.
so I'm gonna go like this all the time.
Yeah. No, so you're gonna.
I'm just staying like that.
No, so before we were starting and throwing from here, your throwing form looked excellent from that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to try to get to this position from a neutral stance.
Okay.
So you're gonna set neutral. How would it check? I think your grip check will be from this neutral position.
Okay.
And then you go into the throw.
Okay.
Yeah. And your cues that you're focused on, if we were giving you your 3 again, it's step 1 is check the grip. Step 2 is almost like that one motion, like transfer of energy, being smooth. And then step 3 is that wrist snap.
Okay.
And it'll be challenging. This will likely be hard. So we got lots of reps.
Okay.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Nice. Yes. So I'm gonna pause it. The reason why that one, I think I say that was excellent, your step throw, the timing was great. The one before that was like a step, pause, throw. So you might have not noticed it, completely fine, but I just want to call it out so that maybe you can remember, and I'll call them out specifically for these next ones.
Okay.
Yeah. Great timing, yeah. Excellent. All good. Was that one just accuracy off?
Yeah.
Okay, but in terms of like, in my peripheral, I didn't see any wobble. So again, that is still a great throw to me because the accuracy comes from reps. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Julian, how are these throws compared to before? Do they feel more, I don't know how to say it, like, in terms of catchability?
Oh, catchability?
Yeah.
Well, right now, just because all the equipment's in the way and stuff like that, so I don't really know. But at the same time, like, she did just change the whole stuff, right? And like, the one thing was grip.
Fair. Okay, wait, maybe a better question is, in terms of like the eye test, when you're looking at a thrower,
Yeah, it looks like she knows how to play.
it looks better now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's what I'm noticing too. Excellent. Yeah, I'm just speaking out loud. I think what the eye test is like, again, people that have played a lot have just got so many reps that it just looks efficient, right? Like their movement just looks natural. I think that is exactly what we're kind of seeing, at least.
Right now,
Yeah.
compared to what, like, the step forward. Like,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I always tell her, this is always step across.
Yeah, if you can.
So then,
I think.
just more natural movement.
Yes, the trade-off with the step across is, again, if you're throwing further distance, again, it comes from you need more rotation into your throw to generate the power. Like lower body, like I'm gonna rip it into the net just so get out. Yeah, like if I'm pulling, like my backhand step will be like here and far out because what I want to do is I want to get a stable base, use this rotation. Like I'm coming back here so I can rotate through this entire thing, and that comes from core, right? But that is only like, if I'm trying to throw that way, if I step 45, my throw's gonna be this way, right? So it's like, basically as you throw further, or if you wanna put more power in, you need to include more core rotation, and that means you need to step out more perpendicular. So exactly what Julian was saying. With shorter throws, that's where the trade-off comes in terms of like, because I don't need that much power and core rotation for a shorter throw, that's why I can kind of get away with like stepping more 45.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Let's get some more reps of this. I think this is, honestly, we've talked about a lot. I think as a heads up, we'll probably go through some more reps, maybe do some with a target like we did before, and then I think we're almost done. Okay. Yeah, this is looking great though. Yes. Yes. super smooth in terms of energy transfer. It's great. Yeah.
I got a reset like that.
Yeah, nice. Excellent. That's great speed.
I know.
Nice. Your step is coming quite perpendicular, which actually is fine. If that feels more comfortable to you, I don't think, again, it goes back to like, the most important parts I think are the grip and the wrist snap. So the step doesn't matter too much, it's just an awareness of, you know, that, like what we talked about in terms of how it affects the angle in which you throw. Yeah, but I think the biggest things that we've seen is you're focusing on grip, like looking at it, and then focusing on that wrist snap at the end in terms of the timing of it too with the step.
Yeah.
Those have been really, I think, impactful for this throw. That's been great. Yeah, great. That one was also very good. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that was excellent. So stable, right on target. Again, these are excellent.
Oh shit.
No, that's great. Still catchable too. That accuracy, again, just comes from reps. This is wonderful. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna pause there. Okay, I'm gonna speak you through kind of like where my head's at. I don't want, we're getting gap effect. So grab water. We're gonna recap. Yeah, sure. And we'll talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think definitely the step
Yeah.
and the wrist snap. And yeah, just where to grip it.
Like how to grip it?
How to grip it.
Okay. In terms of like the cues for the backhand grip, what do you remember? Like what made me stuck out in terms of, oh, maybe that's not something I thought about before?
The space.
Oh, okay, cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I think it was the pressure here and here.
How to think about or just like thinking about where the pressure is for having a tight grip.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sweet. I think, yeah, the cue again, to explain the gap here, it's again if there was a gap, that just means one, if I'm trying to grip it tightly, it's harder for me to exert a lot of force. And then two is there's just more wiggle room. So that means if I'm trying to set the edge and angle, it's harder for me to control.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. We talked about a lot in terms of flick and backhand. Same kind of thing. If we were to do the focus reps of before or after, I would say for you, again, we have kind of our 3-step checklist for both flick and backhand. So if you want to refer back at the end of the video, this is kind of, I think, the reminders. Is for the backhand, it came down to the wrist snap, it came down to the step, and it was more, I guess actually the two main things were the wrist snap at the end, and then the second thing was the timing of the step and the direction. I think that was the biggest difference that I saw before and after. So it's like focusing on those two things when you're doing those focused reps. Those are your two cues. For the flick, it was same thing of wrist snap at the end.
Yeah.
I think, and then the second one was mainly just the elbow.
The elbow,
like moving that away from the body and also getting it like back more. Because again, that came down to, if you have the wrist snap, that means it's very likely you're transferring the energy well. And if you have the more range of motion, that means you can put more power into it. So you kind of have like two cues for both the backhand and the flick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any final questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. As always.
I think my only question is how do you get the disc to go
Farther?
farther?
Like basically the good news is what we talked about in terms of adjustments, it's like you have the fundamentals to get it to throw farther. Like I'll kind of demo. Like,
Yeah.
If I were trying to throw now, like triple this distance to maybe like 30 yards, let's say, like my throwing form would essentially stay pretty similar. The only thing that will differ is, okay, because there's increased range now, I have a lot more leeway with how do I want the disc to get there. Because if you think about, I'm throwing here, right?
Yeah.
If I throw an OI versus an IO, it doesn't really curve out much, right? It's still kind of in this, like it'll never at the max point kind of exit this wideness, right? But if I increase the distance 3x, there's a lot more variation that I can do. So what that means is like, I kind of keep the same throwing motion in terms of like like I want to be efficient. I want to generate a lot of the power from like lower in the chain. I want to have a tight wrist snap. I want to transfer my energy well. But now that I have more distance to play with, that just means the angle and edge is a lot more important. Because again, it's like the same thing of if I'm flying a plane, like 10 miles versus 1,000, if I change my degree that I am like offset by 1 degree difference, it just amplifies the further I go, right?
Yeah.
So the further I throw, if I mess up the angle or the edge by a little bit, it just, the margin of error amplifies, right? Like it just makes it so it goes way further away. So as you add distance, the more important part is actually practicing the angle and edge. It's like the angle and edge control. So that's where, again, we were talking about with this short distance, that's when a lot of people ask me like, oh, how do I improve my hucks? A lot of times what I work with is exactly what we did, because you saw like, oh, you have good fundamentals, but the accuracy was still quite like large in terms of, okay, most of the time it goes to where I want it, but sometimes it goes like 2-3 feet left or right, right? If I'm throwing 30 yards, that 2-3 feet is like between catchable and uncatchable.
Yeah.
So if I can work on my accuracy from this distance and get it so it's like very much just in a maybe 1 by 1 foot box, as I add distance, then all those throws are catchable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a combo of like, you can do these reps from a short distance, get the accuracy better, and then also add in some reps of like, okay, Julian would just go, or whoever the target is, or whoever you're tossing with would just go to like 20-30 yards out, and you focus on the same things. But now what's way more important is angle and edge control.
Okay.
The reason why I suggest throwing shorter though is because, again, it's like a lot of the times when we were throwing short distance, I would say like that was still good even though it was off, right? If you threw 30 yards, you could still have a really good throw, but it would miss by like 10 feet and you'd be like, oh, I completely screwed it up. When in reality, you could have thrown it well.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, it's tough to answer your question, how do you throw further? Keeping the same fundamentals that we worked on, increasing the distance, but being aware that the potential like mess ups are a lot more amplified. So I would just say to keep it even shorter, keep the same thing, but just you're throwing with a bit more velocity.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, hopefully that made sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good question too. I actually will think about that and maybe get back to you as well.
Okay. Sounds good.
Any other questions?
Let me think. Because I think like that was the main question, was my flicks or my throws were wobbly, or I would just whip it to get it to the person instead of snapping
the wrist snap, right?
The wrist snap.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think that's my main.
Cool. Well, we just threw, like, again, we basically did focused throwing for like an hour and a half. So your brain's probably fried.
Yeah.
What do I haven't said this in so long. What do I say? If you found value in this, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you. Peace.